So to do this project, what I've done is I've taken those two-dimensional type ore tiles. They're very flat, and what I've done is brought them into Blender. It's one of my favorite softwares to use when I'm having to make some major adjustments or combine STL files really quickly. I didn't spend too much time on this because I think it looks decent enough, and I think it'll come out in the print even better than it looks in Blender. But I've taken those tiles, have duplicated them and arranged them, and kind of smushed them together to make this shell of a cube. So the idea here is that it makes a top to slide over this little thing that I've made here. Now, this is upside down at the moment, but I will show you what it looks like when it's kind of put together inside of Bamboo Studio. And you'll get a better idea of like what we're going for here. Okay, so brought up really quick in Bamboo Studio, I'll show you what we're kind of going for. These aren't the actual like exact colors. These are going to be just using this for like just so you can see what's going on here. So we have both items brought in. We have this very hollow shell. And all we're going to do, we're not going to print these at the same time, but once they're both done printing and it's put together and assembled, this should slide inside of that gray shell. And that's kind of the look we're going for. So it makes a really easy hollow cube. And if you didn't notice from just looking at it before, this little box that I've made is quite thin. And so the idea is to have it no more than a couple layers thick so that it can diffuse light through it. So that when we hook up the LED, it will have a nice kind of just faint glow coming through it. And I'll experiment once we actually get an LED put inside of it. Obviously, we might have to tweak the thickness to get the effect that we want. Now, I was going to try and pre-build everything about this before I printed anything, but I've made mistakes in the past and thought things would fit properly or work properly. So what we're going to do is we're going to print the outer shell and then the inner shell and make sure that they do work properly. And then that is when we can come in and get measurements for the bottom piece. Now, this bottom piece is going to be a little bit more intricate because it is going to just be kind of a gray brim that goes around the edge of the bottom and obviously covers the bottom to kind of match the outer color of the ore, the stone part of the ore. And then once we've done that, what we're going to do is I am decent at electronics, and I'll actually make this thing USB powered so it can be plugged into your computer or like a phone charger as like a little night light. I think it's going to end up looking really cool. So I need to get some LEDs arranged that I like, that I'm comfortable with. And depending on how the light diffuses, I might actually have to go for some colored red LEDs just to enhance that effect, or at least mixed with bright white light or maybe warm white light. But the idea is to get light diffusing from the center, equidistant from all the walls, so it kind of has a even effect. And then we have to make a base that allows us to fit a USB-C type port in the bottom, and then that'll just be soldered to a few LEDs in the center, and then you'll be able to just plug this in just about anywhere that's USB-C. And I think that it's going to end up looking really cool. It's not super huge. I don't want it too big. The idea is that it can be a desktop kind of thing, or just like a little nightstand little deal, or just something to add to your collection that you can plug in whenever you're kind of showing off whatever display collection that you have. So yeah, that's what we're working on so far, and I think it's going to come out really, really good.